Hello everybody. Good morning. We're back in Georgia, back in our apartment, back from Turkey. And usually sound recording is not very nice in this apartment, so I decided to try a new microphone in case it would help and you would hear me better than usually. I hope so. Really hope so. So yeah, I'm glad to see you again here, and today it's not going to be a vlog. I'm just going to sit and talk with you because I wanted to show you something special which I'm sure some of you have already thought about. Like, I'm pretty convinced there were thoughts about that, maybe even comments, I don't know. But yeah, I want to show you one thing. Just wait a second. So this is me, and yeah, like da-da-da-dun-da-dun. I don't even know what to say about that. I'm pretty big already, guys. I'm pretty big. I know usually people on the internet announce that they're expecting a baby a little bit earlier before they have such a huge bump already. But for some reason, I don't know, like sometimes when you're filming vlogs and just share your life online, sometimes you want to have something special for yourself, especially when it comes to pregnancy and birth. Just in my case, I wanted to keep it for our family for quite a while, and just to keep it as a little, not a secret, but some special information, some intimate information just for us. And yeah, I'm finally ready to share, quite late actually. The belly started to really pop out when we were in Turkey, and I was having hard times figuring out how to film without it being super visible, because it was super visible just if I'm not on camera, just in real life. But on camera I was trying to kind of like balance it. Finally, you know, we're expecting a third baby to come very soon. I am already 30 weeks pregnant. Yeah, like very late. So it's going to be like 2.5 months probably. My due date is in August, just like with our previous second child. I have a very little time to walk around like that, but yeah, I'm excited to share. That's why I've been out of breath all the time for the past, I don't know how many vlogs. I was just talking and couldn't breathe at all. And that's why I was so red. If you've been watching my last vlog from Turkey when we were hiking on the dunes, it was a little bit too intense for a very pregnant woman. So yeah, my blood pressure a little bit, yeah, but I'm fine. I'm good. It's funny, but every pregnancy we have some traveling experience that turns out to be a little bit too intense for me. Just somehow it happens. Like with the first daughter, we've been kind of hiking in mountains on the south of Russia. With my second, we've been kind of hiking by accident here in Georgia. With my third in Turkey, like life happens. Yeah, but I'm fine. I'm doing well. I like walking even when I'm pregnant. So yeah, just not on the sand, not in the dunes. Yeah, these are the news. We're very excited to have a bigger family, to have a third baby coming. When my husband and I were dating, he told me he wants to have maybe not like a big family, but a bigger family, not one child, a little bit more. So we've been kind of thinking about that. And yeah, I've never thought that I'll be a mom of 3 at the age of 26. I'm not 26 yet. I'll be 26 in July. So I'm 25 currently, but when the baby comes, I guess I'll be 3 to 6 already. And I've never thought that that's how life will happen. And I'm very excited that they're close in age. We have 2.5 years gap between our first and our second, and we'll have 2 years gap between the second and the third. So I guess they'll be able to play together. Our first and second already starts playing together a little bit, but still I think they need a little bit more time. So the second one will be more interesting to play with because right now she's, like doing cubes and stuff, nothing special. And our firstborn, she wants to have like a story and talk with animals and have some, dollhouse playing and stuff. So they need a little bit more time. And actually this pregnancy, this baby coming is sort of a miracle for us. It's very unexpected and very, I would say like a gift, like just like a present out of nowhere. We're so excited that God blessed us this way, because with our first, it took us a while to get pregnant. When we were playing, I think it was like 9 or 10 months when we've been trying and we couldn't get pregnant. And I actually started to worry already, like, why? Because all of my friends seem to just, get pregnant by accident or something like that. And I was like, we are trying for so long and nothing happens, why? So it was a little bit of a time of worrying for me. And with our second, we wanted first and the second child to be close in age, so we started trying for our second pretty fast, but it also took us almost a year and even 2 little miscarriages at like 5 to 6 weeks. So I don't really count them, but still it was like an upsetting moment when you get pregnant and then you just found out and then you just find out that it's gone. So it took us a while and it was even more complicated than with the first. And we actually thought that it's going to be like that every time. Like if we want more children, we thought that it would be kind of the same experience. But this baby is sort of a surprise baby, which was absolutely unexpected to us and like literally like a miracle. We were so excited when we found out that we didn't try, we didn't plan, we didn't have any, like miscarriages or anything like that. And it happened somehow. So it was a big blessing. And it was funny how I found out, because every time, like the first and the second, I was doing a lot of tests and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then I was finding out. But this time I was I was feeling super off. Like I thought I was sick. It was especially, like winter time when everybody's sick. So I just thought that I was sick. And I had pregnancy symptoms, but I didn't know that they are pregnancy symptoms, because I was nauseous and I was moody and I wanted to sleep all the time and I was kind of sick. I was hyper emotional at that period of time, but I also, I didn't think that I was pregnant. I was just, very emotional. I remember one day our shower broke down and I couldn't take a shower properly, and I was just crying in the bathroom for like 15 minutes and I couldn't stop, and my husband was like, "What's wrong with you?" Well, he was not like that. He's very supportive, but I could see it in his eyes, like, "Vika, calm down, everything is fine." But he was looking at me like, "Is something wrong? Like, it's just a shower." My cycle usually is not very day-to-day regular, so it's regular, but it very easily can come like 1 week earlier, 2 weeks later. I never know the exact day when it's going to come, so I never track it like day to day, because it's pointless. It's literally, it can be 20 days earlier, 20 days later, but it comes, but not very, not very stable. It was kind of late, but as usual I was like, it's late, like regularly. It's a normal thing for me. And usually when it's kind of late, and especially if I'm not feeling well, I take pregnancy tests just in case, who knows. And since it's late pretty often. I often take pregnancy tests just in case. And usually like there is nothing, like they're negative. But I'm always very suspicious, you know, I'm like looking at these tests, like, is there a second line? Is there not? You can try to, you know, put it in the light and see, like, is there something? And my husband is super used to that they're always negative, but I'm always super suspicious, like, is there something? And this time I took the test and there is super visible, like, second line. And I'm showing it to him and I'm like, look, there is second line. And he's like, nah, there is nothing. You're super suspicious as always. Like, nah, nothing is there. And I'm like, no, look, there is a second line. He was like, no, you always say that. There is nothing. And I'm like, look at this. Look at it. Yeah, so it took him a while to kind of actually like process that there is a second line, that I'm not suspicious. And yeah, he was like, how like, I mean, everybody knows how it happens, but because of our first and second experience, he was like, can it be that easy? And I was like, probably, I guess. So these are our good news, and I don't really know if what I'm going to talk about will make sense, but I wanted to say that I think my mindset kind of changes with every pregnancy, because with my first, I was super anxious. I was like, you know, we need to have everything ready, we need to get prepared, everything should be bought in time, like, you know, plan everything. And not crazy, but still I was like worried. I remember I was like six months pregnant, and I was like, we need a baby crib, we didn't buy a baby crib. And yeah, and I tried to organize things. And the funny thing is that every time, like with my first and my second, every time we were getting pregnant, we were kind of prepared. Like with my first, we had a pretty good moment to get pregnant. We were living in our own apartment. Well, it was not our own, but we didn't have to pay rent. So it was my dad's apartment. So we could renovate it the way we wanted. So technically kind of our own apartment. We were doing flower delivery business. It was going well. Everything was good. Like we were good. We had a good kind of job, like business working, and it was doing well. So I could stay home during pregnancy and birth and not work there anymore, because before that I was working there. I was doing a lot of like my husband was like a director of everything, and I was like doing the same thing but just different spheres. Yeah, so we were good apartment, good place to live, good business. Just I could stay home and relax and, you know, prepare for the birth. And then we were trying and it didn't work out. But then as soon as I got pregnant, somehow very fast things went not super well. We started to have more financial troubles in the business, and I had to work almost till I gave birth. Like literally, in Russia we usually have maternity leave at like 30 weeks, I think. And I was working, I think I was like 2 weeks before I gave birth, when everybody told me to leave and go home. Because yeah, we couldn't hire anybody. So I just got pregnant and I had to go back to work. And financially things were getting harder and harder and harder. And it was hard to prepare for the birth at that period of time. Although just before that we were all good. So it was like an anxious moment. And then when I gave birth, it was like COVID happened. I remember we usually stay for 3 days in the hospital in Russia, even if everything is good. If you have some troubles with baby or with you, you stay for longer. But if everything is good, at least 3 days. So I remember I was laying down there super bored and checking the news. And there was, just something happening in China, like some kind of lockdown, some virus, something. And I was like, no, doesn't sound nice, but China is very far, so maybe we'll be fine. And then literally a month later, I had just 1 month. A month later, we had a lockdown all over Russia. And I remember being with a 1 month old baby. Everybody's going crazy, you know, the news are crazy. People are sick, people are dying, the lockdown, everybody is locked at home. And I was like so worried, like, why this is happening? You know, we were preparing to have a nice, smooth pregnancy, smooth birth, have, a baby and just, you know, live our life. And then the world went crazy. So weird period to be pregnant and have a newborn. With our second, it was the same, actually. We started trying for our second when everything was pretty good. We started renovating our apartment a little bit. I was doing YouTube and it went well. And we were financially good. We were living in the nice place. Everything was so nice. And then I got pregnant. I was, I think, 13 weeks, like 3 months pregnant. And the war happened and we left Russia. And it was such an anxious moment to be pregnant in a foreign country, being an immigrant, having your cards blocked and everything, and all the crazy news happening again, people suffering. Like it was such an anxious moment to again be pregnant and give birth. And I was like why? Why every time we're trying, we're all good, and then when we actually get pregnant and things should be nice, they're not nice. Yeah, so I think these two experiences made me much more comfortable with things not going well or things being super unpredictable. So this time we get pregnant and we literally don't even know where we will be living till the end of the year because we have some immigration stuff going on. And I was like, okay, we survived the first time, we survived the second time, third time we'll be fine. Yeah. So, you know, it's easy to have moments to be anxious about, and it's easy to have moments to be crazy worried, but yeah, I think God is in control, and if we have this blessing this third time, then I think we'll be fine. This time, at least pregnancy is going much smoother than with the first one, than with the second one. We're not moving anywhere right now in terms of countries. There are no coronavirus happening. So for now, we're doing good. I don't know if we'll have more things going on when the baby comes in terms of immigration and stuff. But yeah, we're excited. We're excited to share with you guys. We know the gender already, but I think I would keep it a surprise for you till the birth. Because I think you found out about the pregnancy so late that it would be nice to have some extra surprises for you. Yeah, anyway, thank you for being here, and I hope to see you in my next video. Hope to see you next time. Bye bye, guys.